Welcome back to Fire Emblem Echoes. So we are pretty close to the end, but today I'm going to be covering something I didn't think I would be able to cover, which is the Amiibo dungeons. We've got Duma's Ordeals and we've got Mila's Ordeals. So, Duma's first on the list. Gonna tap this, and then we're going to definitely get the Alm Amiibo out. Yep, that Alm Amiibo that I definitely have. Should have been in the special edition, I swear. Alright, so, Duma's Ordeals takes the form of a dungeon, so we've got a limited party. This is who we'll be taking in. Sorry, Silicon Atlas, you can come along for Mila's Ordeals. So this one's pretty simple, which of course makes sense. Duma's a simple god. He's the war god, you fight, so his dungeon is a straight line. So the thing about the Amiibo dungeons is that they have little bits of text that are bits of backstory for Duma and Mila. You're not missing anything if you don't have the Amiibo, though. It doesn't really give you any, like, amazing new information. Alright, so Guru can summon various monsters. I guess just to make up for the fact that male mages just haven't been able to summon until this point. So we've got Skogul here, which is probably the class, or the overclass with my favorite animations. That one's cool, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Allow me.
So I'm going to be speeding up these partially, just because one of the reasons I want to do this dungeon is just so I can show off the overclasses where they'll be extremely overpowered and also not in for a long haul, so we get to show off animations a bit here at least. So Mire and Death are okay spells, but unfortunately not quite as good as you might, or like, not as unique as you might like. Basically, they have the same range as Thunder, but they do more damage than it. They don't have the best accuracy though, so honestly, Excalibur is still kind of better overall.
You know, I complained about the Dread Fighter animations not fitting any of the characters. That problem was not solved with the Yasha upgrade.
Yeah, same problem, but also still cool, though.
We don't have any... None of our serious characters use a sword.
Oh boy, an Iron Shield, that'll be so very helpful. We do get better things overall through the course of this dungeon, but considering you can just pop in an Amiibo and immediately do this like at the start of the game basically, pretty much the moment you get the turn wheel, they don't want to make the first few too difficult. Alright, so here's Naga giving our two gods here the King's Fang. Just gave him a tooth. Here, have this.
So you think the two that are already fallen out? Or was she like, hold on a second. Ah! Here, don't need this.
Yeah, this was pre-argument.
Yes, allow me.
Which is good, because you don't need to throw your own tooth in when the siblings are fighting. Alright, is this where we get the animation? Hell yeah! Fucking leap off your horse! I forget if the person in charge of Engage's animations worked on this game, but if that is the case, then it shows here. That is Engage's hell. I will leap off my mount just to kick your ass. Alright, unfortunately we're not getting too many of the fancy animations for Harrier just yet, just because, like, I'm attacking at a distance. And I'm doing too well.
Just say the word.
Even if I had to play defensively, it wouldn't be an issue. The enemies in this dungeon do get a little bit difficult later, but by this point in the game they are not a problem. I'm very late in the game to be doing these.
Let's go.
I am still so distracted by how the Guru sprite looks like they're about to start breakdancing at any given moment.
God, it's just that one meme that was going a while ago. I don't remember what song plays during it, though. I wish I knew the name of it.
Leave it to me. I'll do my best.
Also, you can tell how little I cared about these enemies, because I did just position Gray in front of a heal space that theoretically could make somebody really difficult to hit. It wouldn't in this case. Also, both Conquer and Regain can just attack with force, I guess. They're just so powerful, they strike the air and you just die.
The wind has been pushed by this sword with such force that it kills you 30 feet away.
Alright, let's see. So yeah, of course. Technically speaking, it does make sense why this sword is named Falchion. Well, it makes sense why it is named the same as Arcanea's fancy sword. That one being Falchion as well. It doesn't make sense why they're named Falchion just in general, because again, a Falchion is a type of sword, which neither of these is. They're both straight swords, despite being made from a dragon's fang, somehow. Naga really said, yeah, hold on a sec, I need to remove the straightest things in my body, these teeth.
Yes, allow me.
So most things with teeth have 4 canines. Do you think that dragons have like 4 equally sized canines, or do they have 2 big fangs and then 2 smaller ones? I want to know if we have like falchions and then just shuns.
This is a falchion. No, that's a dagger. You're even less correct than you usually are.
Just say the word. Leave it to me.
Nothing will stop me.
I mean, it's hard to say. Admittedly, I've not looked closely at any... Oh! Sorry. Distracted by Claire just absolutely mauling a man to death.
Fucking Warriors Muso attack ass animation.
But yeah, I've not looked closely at Fire Emblem Dragon and their subsequent teeth.
I will not be kept from my duty.
Good thing that was a gargoyle, huh?
Yep. It's
Oh,
just
Jesus.
ghost fights now.
He's obliterating everyone.
Yeah, that guy is not fucking around with his brave sword, mostly. Except for that one part where he did absolutely fuck around with his brave sword. And now he's going to find out. I wanted to show off, the sword animation on Sorceress, but then I realized, no, that's a stupid idea for an enemy with a brave sword. No, that's bad. I need to just range this. Actually, unfortunately, I don't know if I ever do get to show off the sword animation for Sorceress. Just because of the way things go and Sonia's initial positioning in just about every fight, She has very, very good range with magic, but she's not the best up close, and therefore I just want to keep her away. Okay, so you gotta be a royal if you want to use the falchion. Sure. Like I said, it's kinda neat that there's a little bit of extra story in these dungeons, but don't feel cheated if you didn't get the amiibo, because you're not missing anything crucial. You're not going to go, oh my god, Mila and Duma were actually the best characters in the game after reading any of these. There's so much depth to them.
So far, it seems like stuff you could have inferred if you already know a lot about Fire Emblem.
Pretty much, yeah.
Also, this encounter is just way easier than the others, it seems.
It would be theoretically hard, because we've got hard types of enemies. We had the Mogul there, and now we've got the Fiend. But...
You brought magic again.
Yep. So yeah, like, this would be a pretty tough fight if you were coming into this, like, in Act 4, beginning of or midway through, but I'm post-game, and again, I have done grinding. Nothing here stands a chance.
Over already? How boring.
Alright, so let's see. I believe this is the last trial, right? Let's see. Duma and Mila bequeath the divine blood to two champions. Okay, this might not be the last one, because I'm trying to remember if the text I'm thinking of is in the next dungeon. Nope, it's in the next dungeon, because this is the end. Hello, large dragon. I bet you think you're so intimidating, don't you? So yeah, Mire and Death right there showing the low accuracy, which is unfortunate. And yeah, like, Death is just Mire, but with slightly more damage.
And a kick-ass animation.
Mm-hmm. It's got a skull, at least. But it would have been nice if there was just, like, a, like, high-range spell that you got. I get why they didn't want to give you Medusa, because reducing enemy HP to 1 would just be very broken, but it just gives you 2 spells and they're about the same, so could be better.
I would have liked to have seen how this magic system would try to balance a spell like bolting. How much HP does it take to blast halfway across the battlefield?
Probably a lot of it. I think it would probably work like the warp spells or the fortify spells, just... It will drain a lot of HP, but it is very effective.
And I guess I would encourage you to use it like a siege weapon by, like, putting them somewhere safe that has a healer nearby so they can heal the health they spend.
Yep. Alright, so back there we got a special item, Duma's Shield, which is not quite as good as the Draco Shield, which makes sense because the Draco Shield is hard to get and very worth it. However, it is one of the best shields in the game other than the Draco Shield, because it gives you 2 defense, which is so-so. It only has 5 weight, which is half of what the Draco Shield imposes on you. It also eventually teaches you the skill Pavice, which is a skill that appears... It has been appearing fairly frequently lately, and actually, if I remember correctly, it's been around for a while. Though I think early on in the series it was actually enemy only, because it was basically just... it reduces damage against... I believe this is the physical version. So basically just anything you could fight with close proximity, this will I believe in this case, have the damage against it, and that's a skill, so it's just... Whoever is using this, yeah, you just set them up at a choke point, or closest thing to it in this game, and just use that. It also only costs 4 HP as well, which is not really that much, so it's pretty effective to use. The real advantage to Duma's shield, however, is it also gives you 4 attack. This is the only shield in the game that gives you any sort of attack bonus, so theoretically actually decent for Valbar, who already has good defense and could use some attack. Wouldn't really make much use of Paves, though, because he, again, is just ludicrous. So we get a silver purse and Duma's helm. So, there have been a bunch of items in this game like the Duma's helm. It doesn't do anything on its own. It does, however, appear on a character's model in battle. There's a bunch of things like that, like the red tricorn that we got from that guy's one dead dad, the dubious mask. All of those will actually appear on your character if you put them in the inventory slot. One problem, though. This is Fire Emblem Echoes. You don't want to waste a equipment slot on that. That is precious in many, many ways.
Also, important question. If this is Duma's helm, is it actually the size of Duma's head?
Well, to be fair, Duma does have a normal person form. It's probably still larger than most people, but I think it's probably just standard helmet size. It is also, I believe, a reference to the original Gaiden artwork, where you see an imposing figure in the background with a helmet on, and that is more or less this helmet.
You gotta stab this tablet.
Yeah, so seeing if there's anything up with that. There isn't, it's just decoration. So, Mila's Ordeals are less linear, but also still very easy if you're coming into it post-game, having done your grinding for the Super Dungeon. Alright, so now we've got Atlas along for the ride, and he's just going to be assassinating bosses at this point. Get dead, idiot. Got your sword. Which again, that's not particularly useful. Alright, so yeah, pretty much this is what we're going to be looking at for most of the Mila's Ordeals maps, is just this setup with different enemies that will get progressively, quote-unquote, harder. Again, in theory, not in practice. We also get to see that Celica's actually pretty strong and kinda fast at this point. She's not gonna be doubling anything too fancy, but zombies, she can take care of them without too much issue. Alright, so once we're done here, we just go back to the center. I tried to figure out if the tablets out here had any sort of meaning, but they look like they all have basically the same symbol. And either way, it really doesn't matter, because again, there's nothing to read on them. You can't hit them for anything. Man, just imagine if Mila had just stayed on the continent, just... Alright, Duma, have fun being exiled. I'm gonna hang out here. Where nothing will go wrong! Things would eventually go wrong in Arcanea as well.
God, this dungeon really is gonna be turn 1, Atlas kills the boss every single time, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Hunter's Volley is extremely good. I believe I already said this last time, but damn, Atlas has come a long way. He is, out of any character, easily the most improved. Like, Tobin and the gang were low-level villagers, sure, but they were low-level villagers when that wasn't a difficult thing to have. As long as you just didn't feed Alm too many kills, they were fine. But yeah, Atlas couldn't hit shit, could not do damage, had a sword. That was not working out for him.
Atlas also being one of the few characters that you can customize a lot in this game. I do like how kind of smart I felt realizing that he'd be best suited for an archer class. Because you wouldn't think it. Big buff guy like him, you'd think, oh, he should be a knight, or possibly a mercenary.
Over already? How boring.
But since he only gets strength and HP, that puts him in the best position to use all the fun archer combat arts, like Hunter's Volley.
Yep, just don't be near things. You have high strength, you don't have high anything else, you will die if you get near anything else. Yeah, I've said this before, but I did make him a Cavalier, and that was such a wrong choice in my initial run. Because I was like, oh, you don't get a Cavalier otherwise on Celica's route, so I'll make him a Cavalier, which is no longer true in Echoes, and he's not good at it.
I was about to say, I feel like the main reason Conrad exists is that you don't have to make Atlas into a Cavalier.
Absolutely, yeah.
Don't give Atlas a horse.
I'm sure they might have wanted to give Celica a little bit of something for her story as well, just, you know, a surviving family member. But also, in terms of gameplay, yeah, another Cavalier. I also... I giggled at it back there, but I do love the Yasha's critical hit animation of just fucking doing a kick and leaping into the air before the critical flash even plays. I'm honestly genuinely surprised I'm even getting level ups in here.
Yeah, because, like, you're one-rounding almost all of these.
I mean, I guess bonus EXP does help a lot, just... At the end of the round you get a little bit of something, and I was through one whole dungeon.
God, Atlas has gotten a crit every single time he's attacked.
Yeah, so you can see here very clearly, losing that one movement was not a big deal at all. Like, at this point, there are some maps we're going to encounter with a lot of space that you might need to traverse, but I have never felt like he couldn't get anywhere useful with his increased range, so very good trade-off. He is even safer than he was before.
That was a fine victory.
Alright, let's see. So, where are we in the dungeon? We've got... is that... I think this is the last room before the end. So what do we got on this tablet? Yep, we already knew that. That's the entire basis of the game. Alright, so... Gargoyle, huh? Well, do your best. It's not going to work. The other nice thing about having Celica along is these guys do sort of have an advantage in their positioning. they're a little ways away, so it's hard for most characters to actually approach them. Now again, turtling at this point isn't difficult. Valbar could just walk in and just absorb everything, just every hit from these guys. But I want to kill them faster.
You need to kill fast and Valbar too slow.
Honestly, just a summary of his character in this entire game. Near perfect level.
God, Matilda.
Other than HP. I don't think she's maxed out HP yet, so that wasn't a perfect level. And of course, she didn't get resistance, but this is Fire Emblem Echoes, so of course she didn't. I have not gotten a lot of perfect level ups in my time in Fire Emblem. The one time I can recall a perfect level up was Manuela in Three Houses. Of all characters.
That was the one day of the year she was sober.
Alright, so with all of the challenges met, door in the back, says everyone attack. Now let's kill, I don't know, a dragon or something. The initial draft of Ballroom Blitz was real weird. Alright, so this must be the one I was thinking of. Okay, yeah, this is just kind of a nice message to end on of just, hey, they had this blade that could murder one another, but they never used it on each other, even when they got real mad. Eventually, however, some old dude would take it and just seal one of them away, and Duma's not going to say no to that. He'll take advantage of this whole thing. Alright, so this one is clearly harder than the others, cause like, I probably couldn't one-round this. So we'll have to play it safe, I guess.
We'll have to two-round it. Atlas, you really didn't need that crit.
He didn't, but he's got a 56 crit, so better than a coin flip.
Especially, these are supposed to be slightly better than a coin flip. You're hitting all of them.
He's just getting heads every time. Theoretically, it's impossible. Improbable? Yes. Mathematically, this really shouldn't happen. But it is.
Well, the crits start coming and they don't stop coming.
Out of anybody who's in the most danger, it is probably Sonia, and I'm still not worried about her at all. Alright, well, since we're gonna hit the end of this dungeon, get our stuff, and then look it over briefly before we go, I'll mention the specific rewards for Mila's Ordeals. You've got Mila's Diadem, which, much like Duma's Helmet, is just for show. You can just waste having more attack or defense and fancy moves for wearing a diadem if you really want to. There should have been a vanity slot. The other items we'll be getting, however, are Mila's Ring, which, like all rings, regains HP at the start of a turn. However, it also gives you immunity to critical hits, so potentially very useful against high crit enemies or just for characters with low luck. Also, there's Phalanx coming in twice in a row. Phalanx, it's very good. I mean, look, Valbar doesn't take a lot of damage anyway, but he has to take at least one, as per the rules of this game. But now he doesn't, if he has enough people next to him. But anyway, you also get Mila's bow as a weapon, which is an HP recovery bow, so that's nice. And basically the main thing about it is its stats are okay, but it has like a bunch of like healing type skills. So it's got Plentitude and it's got Earth's Boon, so it can get you provisions if you really want them. And to be fair, at this point, we are kinda gonna wanna start stocking up on provisions, not wasting them all just because they fill up our inventory. Just as a word of warning, where we're going in the next episode, don't bother bringing any wine. we're not going to be seeing many Mila statues. By which I mean any. But more on that next time. For now, we can bask in the victory of us just curb stomping Mila's minions. So we get her ring, her bow, we already got the diadem in the fight. And so yeah, this is just me checking out the stats of the stuff. In addition, I also didn't pick up all of the cogs. I'll just put up a list of them right here so you know where they are. And lastly, I did forget to put it in when editing the episode, so sorry Loka, you'll have to wait until this is done editing to watch. But I did actually also record the final map lines for the DLC characters, so we'll end off on seeing what they say at the end of the game. They're okay lines. There's a reason I kind of almost forgot them.
I think when I looked it up, I literally couldn't find their lines, so thank you for doing that.
I might just upload them separately on the non-com channel, because otherwise they'll just be squirreled away in an odd part here. Anyway, though, yeah. See you next time for some bullshit.
7 days until you die!
I've already finished it. I'm already done footage recording. I don't need to worry about it anymore. It can't hurt me, I can only discuss it.
It's no concern of mine who decides to conquer the world. But something tells me you'd take all the fun out of it. And I can't have that.
I don't know much, but I know this. We will never lose to you.
What arrogance to try and seize control of the world. Power is only ever as great as the heart of the wielder, and yours shall falter.
We come from a foreign land, so perhaps this isn't our battle. But you've given us plenty of evidence that we should make it our battle.